Well, you want to talk about predictable outcomes. The Toronto Blue Jays lose 3-2 to the Philadelphia Phillies. They fall to 38 and 32 on the year. 6 games over 500. Still sitting all right, in the playoff picture, early going, still in the season. But, what I mean by the predictable part was if I'd told you Bowden Francis started to fall apart at some point in his start, that would be predictable. If I told you the offense was held in check by a very good pitcher, that would be predictable. If I told you that the bullpen arm that gave up the home run that ultimately lost the game was Chad Green, very predictable. There were no real surprises in this one other than maybe the way the first 3 2/3 innings went for Bowden Francis. He was fairly dialed in early, maybe a little bit of luck, maybe not. He looked good in my eyes. And then just 2 outs in the 4th inning, forgot how to throw the baseball, forgot how to throw a strike, wasn't locating anything, was missing by, a good 2 feet. The catcher's mitt was low and away. He was up and in with pitches, just completely fell apart. And it wasn't even like he was, 70 or 80 pitches into his outing. It started around 50 pitches. So there's a problem here. I liked what I saw for the first 3 2/3. Like I say, I don't know if he was getting a little bit lucky or not, but he looked good on the television. But they've got to figure out what's going on, and they can't continue to throw away starts like this. He wasn't good enough. There was some building. I know John Schneider said after the game they were going to work on some things. He's working hard with Pete Walker. They're going to take what they learned in those first 3 innings and look what they can do moving forward. I hope that's the case. I hope, if we are going to give them another start, which it appears we are, I hope they're able to look at that first time through the lineup, those first, 3+ innings, and see what they did effectively, see why he was able to all of a sudden locate and what he was doing differently with his mechanics perhaps, why he was able to locate better than what he has been doing, why he wasn't leaving pitches middle, it didn't seem like. And just build off that and move forward with it, because we need him right now. If he's going to continue getting these opportunities, we need him to get a grip and start being more productive. He doesn't need to be at the end of last year's version where he was the best pitcher in baseball, but he's got to get you 5 or 6 innings, and he's got to keep you in the ball game. Now, I won't say that this was entirely on him, because at the end of the day, Brendan Little did come in and get him out of that jam, and they only allowed the 2 runs at that point. So really your offense should be able to pick that up. It is hard to blame a pitching performance when you only let up 3 runs. It is hard to pin it all on the pitching. But still, Bowden Francis needs to be able to get you deeper into games, needs to prevent, Chad Green in this case from having to come into the game, and just ultimately needs to be a professional starting pitcher, which he hasn't been the last, probably 2 months now at this point. Anyways, we'll get into the recap with it now. So it was pretty quiet throughout the whole game. As I say, it was a 3-2 ball game, but both pitchers cruising. It was Christopher Sanchez and Bowden Francis. Christopher Sanchez, there's a reason why he has a 3.0 ERA. He's very good from the left side. He throws hard. He has a wicked changeup. He's got a good breaking ball. There were comments, I think it was from George Springer, talking about his changeup and talking about the extension that he has as he releases. He is a good pitcher. You don't expect to light this guy up. But, we score first. Springer strikes out in the top of the second. Clement then doubles. Davis Schneider strikes out, and then Miles Straw, of all people, singles to left field. Clement scores. Straw moves up to second base on the throw. Clase then flies out to left field, ending it, but it is 1-0 Blue Jays through the top of the second. And Bowden Francis answers that with Castellanos flies out, Kepler strikes out, Real Muto strikes out. So he gets a 0 after scoring a run. That's always important to do as a pitcher for any team, and Bowden's looking good early on, as I said. Christopher Sanchez in the third strikes out Heineman. Bichette grounds out. Guerrero Jr. then gets a single off him to center field before Kirky grounds out. And again, he's just a very good pitcher holding us in check. So the next scoring happens all the way in the bottom of the 4th inning, when this is where the wheels fell off. So Schwarber strikes out and Bohm grounds out to start the inning, so we get 2 outs right away. Bowden, again, 3 good innings, then gets these 2 outs. He looks like he's cruising. Looks like he's doing really well, and he's only at about 50 to 55 pitches at this point, if I remember. And then all of a sudden, Nick Castellanos works a walk on 7 pitches, and the wheels just completely fall apart. Max Kepler's up next, takes a slider for a strike, and then 4 straight balls. Then he hits Real Muto with a pitch. Then he walks Bryson Stott. He got behind 3-0, I believe, in that one. Then he throws in 2 strikes and then misses way high, uncompetitive to walk him. Walks in a run, making it 1-1. Then Kemp comes up and he runs a fastball in on him and hits him, making it 2-1 Phillies. Brendan Little comes in, throws actually a wild pitch here, and Heineman grabs the loose ball, dives, tags Real Muto out at the plate. A bit of a lucky play there for us, really, to get out of that with no further damage, especially the way we got out of it, keeping it 2-1. So there, the line is closed on Francis, 3 2/3, the 2-run score. Not the end of the world. It got really ugly there in the 4th, but ultimately you get through 4 innings pitched, and there's 2 runs on the board. Not insurmountable, not game over. The game wasn't blown apart at this point. It wasn't like his last start, where he's letting up 6 or 7 in 1 inning. So there is some positivity there to work with. We've just got to get more of it. We have to get better than this. Sanchez, in the top of the 5th, so the very next half inning, gives up a run here. Clase flies out, but then Tyler Heineman's hit by a pitch. Bichette grounds into a fielder's choice. Heineman's out at second. And then what happened on this one was they called a double play on the field. Bo Bichette was called out at first on the double play, and they appealed it. Bo Bichette was safe by the spike on a cleat, basically. It was so close, I'm surprised they actually overturned it, even though he was safe. But it was so close that I felt like they were going to uphold the ruling. Anyways, that turned out to be incredibly valuable because Vladdy Guerrero Jr. doubles to deep center field. It kind of gets stuck under the fence a little bit, like the fence kills the ball. Bichette's able to score on it. Guerrero Jr. safe at second. 2-2, brand new ball game. So you've closed the book on Francis. You're back to square. You've got 2 runs off Christopher Sanchez that you feel good about. And let's see if we can get something turned around here. Brendan Little's still in. He gets Marsh singles off him, Then he gets Turner to fly out, Schwarber to foul out. Wyrod comes in and closes out the inning by getting Bohm to line out. Christopher Sanchez comes up, gets us 3 up, 3 down. Wyrod continues on in the 6th. He ends up putting up a clean inning. He had a walk in there, he had a single in there, but he gets the job done. Sanchez ends up finishing the 7th as well with 3 up, 3 down. And then we're on to Braden Fisher in the bottom of 7. Marsh grounds out, Turner walks, Schwarber strikes out, and then Bohm flies out, ending the inning. So another good, clean inning from Braden Fisher there. He's been very, very good out of the bullpen for us this year. I don't think he's allowed to run yet when relieving. I know he got blown up in that one opening appearance that he did. Kirkring comes in, so we finally get through to the bullpen in the 8th. Kirkring is very good as well. The Phillies have some fairly strong pitching when they get to choose which guys they deploy and don't have to get too far into that pen. Bichette grounds out, Guerrero fouls out, Kirky strikes out. So that was a real missed opportunity through the top of our order against, a guy who isn't necessarily closing caliber. And it was at that point when I started to get nervous, especially when I saw that Chad Green was likely coming in for the 8th inning. This is where it started to feel like this one could likely get away from us. Now, Chad Green comes in, gets Castellanos to fly out, and then Kepler, he leaves a fastball. I want to see what the count was. It was a 2-0 count. He leaves a fastball just middle. Kepler turns on it. It only went 370, but it was fairly no-doubter. Like off the bat, you were going, uh-oh. Real Muto grounds out after that, and then Stott fouls out. So it's 3-2 Phillies heading to the 9th. They go to Matt Strom. Springer strikes out, Clement flies out, Schneider pops out, ending the ball game. Pretty uncompetitive at bats there, really. There was no real threat at all. So just a dull, kind of a boring game. It wasn't the greatest game we've played in a while. After going, 12-2 in the 14 prior to this series, we're going to come back down to earth a little bit. And I can't overreact for 2 losses. Now, tomorrow's game's not looking good either, especially depending on how the pitching goes. But again, you're not going to keep up that pace of 12-2. You're going to come back down to earth and lose a few, so it's not time to overreact by any means. Phillies are a good team, but we are going to have to get back on track. We can't let too many games slip away here. Now, I'll flip over to the box score real quick. Bichette went 0-for. Vladdy went 2-for-4. Kirky and Springer both went 0-for. And for me, that was the real problem with this game. There was a lefty on the mound. A bunch of your top bats are righties there. You get 5 hits, which, they only put up 4 hits. So really, we kind of had the better performance there, but you got to get the top of the order clicking more if you want to win a ball game. On the pitching side, Bowden Francis, 3 2/3, 74 pitches, ends up letting up the 2 earned runs, not good enough, like we've touched on. His ERA is over 6 on the year. If they do give him one more start, he's got to be better. The bullpen did their usual thing. Little, Rodriguez, Fisher, phenomenal. And then Green gets touch up for a home run because of course he does. That's all he does lately, it seems like. Anyways, that's where I'll leave off for today. Let me know what you guys thought about the game. Oh, by the way, let me know what you guys think of the new City Connect hat. We'll talk to you later, all right? Have a good one.